there's another part of this shit show that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I'm gonna play the clip, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. 5 years into our process, Lord, do whatever it takes to save him. Because although I was going to church, praying, doing all this, it didn't seem to be making a difference.
So this is going on for 5 years.
Sure.
When he had a reprobate mind.
Yes, completely. And I was working for the police department as a dispatcher. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I worked nights, he worked days because we couldn't afford daycare. I was dispatching. I got a call for armed robbery in process. I got the K-9, the air unit, set up a perimeter. We were chasing him. We pulled the car over, arrested them, and it was him.
And my cousin. Yeah. I'm Kermit the Frog at this moment. This is T.
Yep.
Did you say you got the call and it was him?
It was him. Committing armed robbery.
Yeah.
Caught him.
Yeah.
And he was arrested.
I was arrested, me and my cousin.
Yep. So he is now facing 7 to 21 years in prison.
7 to 21.
I got off the floor, told my sergeant what happened because I didn't want to lose my job because you can't be married to a criminal.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't know what he was doing. And my first thought was, who has my kids? Because it was 3 a.m. But
I had my baby sister. She would come in and watch the kids while I'm out.
He robbed people.
And I kept a few dollars in her pocket. Oh, this is an ongoing thing you used to do. She never knew you was robbing.
No,
Yeah,
didn't know.
It's ongoing.
And had no idea because he was a psych tech during the day. And a robber at night.
Yeah.
Call about double-minded. This is what I was living with.
Yeah.
And so I finally...
Let me tell y'all something. I never knew all this when I invited him on the podcast. Right. This is a whole different story. Yeah. Just like marriage, I found fascinating. This right here, this is a whole movie.
So he was in jail for 3 days. You can take
it. And then during that day 3, I was on the top bunk. I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'll serve you. I had a Bible in my hand. I'm reading the Bible. 3 seconds later, they said, Steele, roll up. I looked at my bunkie. He was down under me. And I said, hey, man, did they say Steele? He said, I think so. So I go up to the front, and they said, yeah, you've been bonded out. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, you've been bonded out. So when I got out in the parking lot, I saw my wife out there and my mom and dad. I looked at my dad. I said, I'm ready to be a preacher.
True story. That was the conversion.
That was the conversion. Listen, when God did that in 3 seconds, not 3 minutes, not 30 minutes. When I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'll serve you. 3 seconds later, they said, Steele, roll up.
Yep.
And when I went outside, I told my dad I'm ready to accept my call. And you know what my dad, the best thing he ever did, he said, well, if you want to be a preacher now that you're in all this trouble, he said, you and Kelley clean my church every Monday and Thursday, and then I'll let you preach in the next year. And so
now, my question is, why Kelley got to clean the fucking church? Weren't you the one that just got arrested while Kelley was at work? So the toxicity was already in his pastor daddy. Because there's one, I am sure his parents were fully aware of what he was putting his wife through. So now he gets arrested, and here his wife is still by his side. And your solution is community punishment. How'd that work? It's so many levels of toxicity in this situation to unpack. And someone had said, like, oh my God, I'm going to get into it. Oh, girl.
The video of that girl that's going viral stating that men are not attractive anymore, and it's really because, like, they're not healing. I'm going to just say this. The men are not looking attractive because it's giving low vibrational. And it's not that they're necessarily low vibrational, but it's the fact that women have grown so far within their healing process that the vibrations and the frequency in which they are operating at, the average men are not. It's the fact that women were in general conditioned to like men due to some superficial reasons. And now, if we have to take away those superficial reasons, whether it's due to providing, and doing all these little cutesy things, if the men are not here to provide, women are going to realize, wow, I have to really like a person for who they are. And I think a lot of women are realizing that men are not likable on average for who they are. Not to say that this is all men, but I need you to understand that the average men don't really value pouring into themselves and loving themselves the way in which the average women do. And the average woman is really on this self-care journey. The average guy is not. So now I'm just going to say this. Women are seeking more men that are aligned with them on a vibrational level. And the average guy is not operating on that vibrational level. So now what we're experiencing is a physical manifestation of that. Women, we are seeing in real time, women are losing their attraction to men for fundamental reasons. It's the fact that when we take away all these things, all we're forced to look at is our natural predator. Do what you want with this information, but remember I said this.
There's so much to unpack in this video. It's literally so much, and I suggest you watch all of it. Now, I am going to add a lot of clips to it. Some of the clips, and you can watch the original as the other lady has dished, and you can get the full gist of everything. I'm not literally gonna stitch everything here. I'm just gonna give you the perspective of others. I don't even know if I should give you my own perspective, because I feel like the ladies have said the most, that people are not outgrowing their outdated beliefs, and people still believe in this struggle love of Black women suffering. They're conditioning us to just love irrespective of what the man does, to just give irrespective of what the man does, and that love is only like that because all of them are the same. But I don't think that all of them are the same. I don't believe that all of them are the same. I believe that men have developed at different levels, and assertive men will always conquer above others. And it's shameful, really, literally shameful to deal with things like this, where people don't even think of anything else but to oppress other people and deem them less humans. There's a problem that would have a problem with in terms of such people, and then they come out and be like, oh, we made it, look at me. And I think as well they have their audience as well. I'm not the target or the audience to watch such things. That's why I'm not going to align myself with this, because there are people that align with this type of love, and they are giving advice to certain people who are in that type of marriage, and they're like, as long as you hold on and you are the wife who still was from the beginning and doesn't change irrespective of what the man does, then he might come back to you, may come back to you, with strong emphasis. Yeah, so just live in hope, girl. And one day maybe he might come correct, or maybe he won't. He will get a new one. But either way, just live hopefully and never be bitter, because men don't like bitter women.
I had a radical heart shift from that moment. I got in my word, under my word. I just completely changed as a person. And I realized that God loves me, that God has a purpose and plan for my life, that God chose me, that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. So he would call me out my name. It wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his. And when I was going through transition of him not coming home on the weekends, not being there, telling me, I hate you, I'll never love you, I wish I never married you. Right. I knew that life and death is in the power of the tongue through the word of God. So I would say, you will love me one day. We will have a good marriage one day. And although he would go out for weekends, I would literally help him get ready to go meet a side chick by ironing his clothes and getting him ready for the night. And these are all things I was graced to do. I would not encourage anybody to do that unless you are graced by God to do this. But once I knew who I was,
what would you say to the women that may be looking at this and say, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still.
Oh.
Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already. You didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them probably a long time ago. And you should have just worked with them from the beginning and just worked out the kinks and worked it out, because a man can always build.
And I say this with all due respect. You don't marry a man and then turn him into a man worth marrying. I understand that there are men that are not finished products. They may not be where they need to be financially. But as far as character is concerned, he needs to already be there when you say I do. A man should not come to you as raw clay, needing for you to mold him into a man. That's a job his parents should have done. That's the job that he should have done prior to you getting there. Well, she's talking about, y'all want a ready-built man. Yes, when it comes to that, absolutely. What's the point of a vetting process if you're marrying a man who isn't what you want? With this logic, you might as well just pick a man at random. Now, this is what I will say, because I'm a dating coach and not a therapist. This is the result of her own personal trauma. In this interview, she describes how her father cheated on her mother, and she thinks that her mother should have made it work with her father. I feel like she's trying to make right what she felt was made wrong in her childhood. I feel like you're trying to heal your inner child by doing what you feel your mother did wrong. But your mother leaving her cheating husband was the right thing to do for her. Wives don't ruin families by leaving cheating husbands. Husbands ruin families by cheating on their wives.
I just saw a video of a pastor's wife who said that she would iron her husband's clothes and help him get ready to go and meet a side chick.
It's a side project.
She said the grace of God, her words, not mine. She said the grace of God allowed her to iron the clothes for the husband to go and cheat with side chick.
That grace is from Temu.
Sisters, raise your hand. May that grace never find you.
Amen.
May that grace see you and pick grace in the opposite direction.
And I would literally help him get ready to go meet a side chick by ironing his clothes and getting him ready for the night.
Is this the same grace we're talking about?
She claims.
Then somebody's gonna tell me, oh, you don't understand. These are spiritual things.
It's evil spirit.
Your foolishness is worse than the Galatians. No, you don't. She followed up by saying that I wouldn't recommend somebody to do this if you're not graced enough to do this.
And these are all things I was graced to do. I would not encourage anybody to do that unless you are graced by God to do this.
Auntie, it's not grace.
It's grace.
With the uttermost disrespect, it's foolishness. Do as you want in your household, but don't be claiming that same holy grace as this.
What is this?
Using God's grace to justify this foolishness? Adulterous madness is free.